Okay, welcome everybody. It's Tuesday, 350. Welcome to the BYOAR T350 show. Let me pull up my screen here, and yep, there I am. Make sure my sound is down so I'm not hearing myself in quadraphonic stereo. So welcome, and my camera guy is going to do a quick sound check. Make sure that everybody can hear me. Make sure I got my microphone on. Yeah, I'm on. He's got to wait through the delay to see if he can hear me. Okay, we're good. All right. So again, welcome everybody, and hope everybody had a good July 4th. We had a really good weekend. Had a picnic out at the camper. Had a bunch of family out. Had a bunch of good food, deep fried turkeys. There we go. I got my questions up now. Hey Derek, how's it going? So we deep fried a couple turkeys, had hamburgers, hot dogs, did the whole traditional 4th of July thing, and watched everybody in the campground set off fireworks. I don't play with fireworks. I play with guns, but I don't play with fireworks. I had a bad experience when I was a kid. So hope everybody got to get out and do a little shooting over the July 4th. I, in fact, didn't. I did a little bit last night. I was helping a buddy with, he was having an issue with a gun, and it wouldn't cycle. It was a single shot, and it would shoot one time, and it wouldn't load the next round, and it wouldn't even eject the round fully. It would get caught up, and come to find out, when he put his gas block on, it was just, I mean, it was a little bit of flow, but not enough to cycle the gun completely, and it was not ejecting the round properly, and then obviously not feeding the next round. So he had a whole couple little issues going on, but we got it straightened out. So I dumped about 10 rounds through it last night to make sure it was good for him, and he got it back today, so he was real happy. And leading up to so last week, before we get into this week's show, which is going to be troubleshooting, leading into the story that I just did, last week. What did we do last? Oh yeah, we did targets last week. One week starts to blur into the other. We did targets last week, and so we had a bunch of good comments about targets that guys were using. Michael Harris won the sticker pack last week, so we got that sent out to him. He probably will get it, I'm guessing, either today or tomorrow. We sent that out Thursday afternoon to him, so he probably has it today, maybe tomorrow. So last week we had our special on the Old Glory handguard, and that sale ended. But we did. Someone bought one, and in fact, they bought a Texas one to go with it. So they're going to have some nice looking guns when they get those all built out. This week we still have our giveaway going on that. We're going to run that for 2 more days. Thursday we're going to do the giveaway on that. I think we're going to do that in conjunction with the guys from Gun Stuff TV on their Thursday live show. We're going to Skype in, and we're going to announce the winner on there, and we'll also announce it here on the BYOAR page as well. But that'll be done live on the Gun Stuff TV. So if you haven't liked Gun Stuff TV on Facebook, hop over there and like Gun Stuff TV, and you'll get notified when they go live. And they got some real interesting shows, so give them a check out. It's hot. I'm sorry. In the 90s here all week. So when you get your sticker pack, look at you see what you can do. You can do all kinds of cool stuff, right? I put them all over my Yeti. I don't tell anybody it's a Yeti, but you're not supposed to buy a Yeti, right? Let me see that. Yeah, don't forget to get over there to BYOA and like, comment, and share on the post. The final 2 days there to get in on the drawing for that Old Glory handguard. We're going to give that away on Thursday. And this week, our special is we are introducing, you've heard me talk about it the last couple of weeks. It's on the website. It's for sale. You can now buy the ARV handguard. The V is actually the Roman numeral 5, so it's an AR5, but somebody had the copyright AR5, so we're ARV, Roman numeral V for AR5. So we can't infringe on anybody's copyright that way. But you got that nice MP5 look to an aluminum handguard, you know, real sleek, real sexy. I mean, everybody likes it. Everybody that sees it likes it. So introductory price this week, $5 off on the ARV handguard. And it comes with all the mounting hardware, barrel nut, everything you need to install that on your AR pistol. It does have a gas tube relief area, so it will work with short-barreled direct impingements as long as it clears your gas block. This 5-inch model leaves about 1/4 of an inch sticking out of the gas block on a direct impingement model on a pistol length. So in our next run, we're going to have a 6-inch model that will make sure it covers the gas system on a direct impingement pistol length rifle. But these are great for your 9mm, your blowbacks, 45s, 10mm, all that kind of stuff. And it's just a nice, sleek, sexy look. So $5 off this week. We got about 35 of each size. We got 3.5, 4 1/4, and 5-inch. So get them while we got them. So this week, like I said, we're talking about troubleshooting. We have a post up on BYOAR in the A Architect page about some issues you may have had. Hayden Thompson and Keenan Lord already posted some stuff they've had going on and how they've worked through some different issues they've had. Like I said, last night we were working on the guy's gun, and it was just a gas block misalignment. It was pretty easy. Hey, Caleb. A little late, yeah, but you're always here. Good to see you. So when it comes to troubleshooting these things, they're fairly simple. I mean, they're very basic guns, so there's not a whole lot that goes wrong with them. The 4 probably major things that are going to happen or that you're going to have trouble with is you're going to have failure to feed, failure to eject, or you're going to have an undergassing or overgassing issue, which is going to cause other issues and others. It's going to have different symptoms. Failure to feed, it can be several things. It can be magazine related. It can be feed ramps, especially on a new gun when you've just built a brand new rifle. The feed ramps, they're a little hard to see in here, but the feed ramps, okay, they can be a little sharp and they might need polished up and do a little deburring. You can take a little Dremel and a little stone, a polishing wheel, and kind of work the sharp corners off of those. Blend them in, make sure that your feed ramps are in good shape. Make sure that they're aligned properly too, you know, from the factory. Looking down at them and making sure that they're in line with the pre-cuts in the upper. You can, a lot of times I've heard guys say that they'll take a brand new gun after they've just built it and they'll just oil the snot out of it and then just sit there and cycle it, allowing, that lug to mesh in and mesh out and mesh in and mesh out and kind of wear everything in, wear those sharp corners out, and that'll help with some of that too. So definitely, if you're having failure to feed issues, try a different magazine. Make sure it's not a magazine issue. Some magazines, some of the less expensive magazines, we won't say cheap, some of the less expensive magazines sometimes have issues. Using a good quality magazine is always beneficial. Making sure your feed ramps are polished and good and clean, especially if they're new. Failure to eject also can be a new gun. The chamber can be really tight if it's brand new. Making sure it's good and clean and oiled well. A host of problems can be solved by cleaning. If you've been shooting a lot and you're starting to have issues, a whole host of problems can be solved just by giving your gun a good cleaning and re-oiling. Putting a magazine in, sometimes you go to put a magazine in and the magazine doesn't want to feed. A 30-round magazine, when it's fully loaded with 30 rounds, sometimes you can't compress it enough to get it in there. You can take one round out. Half the time what I do is I just take and lock it back, and then I put my magazine in. Make sure I got an empty magazine there, and then I'll close it and it'll load that first round, and you usually won't have a problem. But sometimes if you got a 30-round magazine and it's fully loaded and your bolt's closed, this will go in here and it doesn't want to lock in unless you really pop it, because what you've got to do is compress that spring a little more, and if you've got it fully loaded with 30 rounds, sometimes there isn't enough room to compress it. So you just drop one round out of it and usually helps. But like I said, if that doesn't help, just lock it open, put your mag in, and close it on the round. So we start to get into over-gassing and under-gassing issues. The problem we had last night on the gun, obviously it was an under-gassing issue because the gas block itself wasn't aligned properly with the hole in the barrel, and it wasn't allowing the proper amount of gas to go back and cycle the rifle. And what was happening was that as you would fire it, it would come back about there, about 3/4 of the way. The round would almost start to come out, and then this would come back and trap the round in there, and obviously, it's jam up. So by realigning the gas block, we were able to solve that issue, and we got the full come back on the bolt, and everything started cycling just fine. Quick, easy check for under-gassing issue. Put one round in your magazine, right? Put one round in there, load it, close it, fire it, and you should, on an empty magazine, see, that should, on an empty magazine, your last round bolt hold open should lock that bolt to the rear. If it's not locking to the rear on that last round, you're short stroking. So it's not coming back all the way far enough to catch that bolt hold open. Therefore, it's not going to catch that next round and strip the next round. It may not eject the last round properly, and that's typically an undergassing issue. You can check, a quick way to check for alignment of your gas block is take your gun apart and take your bolt out, take your charging handle out, and take some brake cleaner with that plastic. They come with a plastic straw on the end of them so you can get in there and clean your brakes real good. Take it down through there, put it through the end of your gas tube, and spray it. You should get brake cleaner coming out the end of your barrel. It should travel all the way through there and travel and come out the end of your barrel. If you're not getting any liquid out of there, then you've got an obstruction of some kind in your gas system. Either your gas block is misaligned, it's gotten dirty, something has happened that's obstructing the gas. Another thing that can happen, I didn't talk about, is for gas escaping and undergassing, is the gas rings on your bolt. Okay, to check the gas rings on your bolt, right? There's rings on here. Let's see if I can get this apart. So you see there's some rings on here, right? There's just like piston rings in your car, okay? And those seal in here. So what happens is that those rings wear out and you get gas blow by. And when you get gas blow by, obviously it doesn't want to cycle properly. So quick way to check your gas rings and make sure that they're put this all back together. Of course, it doesn't want to go back together for me. I'll get it. So a quick way to check your gas rings and make sure that they're still have good tension on them and good seal is take this, extend it out all the way, and set it up on a table just like this. Okay? If it stays right there, it's good. If this thing collapses under its own weight, then your rings are probably wore out. So you can set that up just like so, and it should stay up under its own weight. If it collapses like that under its weight without you pushing on it, then your gas rings might need replaced. Another thing that can happen is this gas tube. If your gas tube is not aligned properly with your gas key, every time this thing cycles, you could be wearing the tip of your gas tube off in here. And as you wear the tip of the gas tube off, it doesn't want to fit in there. It'll go in there, but you're losing seal. That gas tube seals against the back of the gas key. That explosion happens. The pressure goes in here, and this moves your bolt backwards. If you've got gas escapage in there because part of your gas tube is worn away from misalignment, then that can also cause you short stroking issues. So, you know, like I said, there's just a ton of things that can happen that can cause issues, and all the symptoms, you know, can lead you to where you want to go. But, you know, knocking down the variables one at a time is the easiest way to diagnose it. As far as overgassing, a lot of times overgassing can look like undergassing. The bolt is slamming back so fast that and coming back forward so fast that things don't have a chance to happen. It's the round hasn't had a chance to come up in place and get grabbed and slide in. The round that's in there maybe not had a chance to clear completely before the bolt's coming back forward. You know, and a lot of guys say, "Oh, that's undergassing," because it looks like it, but it's really not. The best way to tell for overgassing is to check the rim of your cartridge. So as the bullet is fired, the casing expands in the chamber, and this thing, you know, you're overgassed. It starts to want to cycle before the expansion is completed, and you'll see on the lip of your cartridge, it looks like where the extractor is right here, it looks like it's trying to rip the lip off of it. You'll right at the corner, you know, that little section right there, you'll look at your cartridge and you'll see where the brass is, it looks like it's dented or pulled in. So it's trying to rip that lip off. And that's the easiest way to tell if you're overgassed, but it looks like an undergassing issue. You know, those are a few things you can try to alleviate some of those issues. If you start to get too far down the rabbit hole and you're still having issues and you're not sure what to do, my best advice is to go to a gunsmith and let them have a look at it. But, you know, there's a few very simple things that you can do, like I just talked you through. Overgassing, you know, the best way to alleviate that issue is probably a adjustable gas block. You can put an adjustable gas block on there and dial down your gas, or you can put a heavier buffer weight and spring in here so that this becomes, you know, it takes more pressure to push that back. The heavier the spring is and the heavier the buffer is, it slows down the action. So, you know, you can try a heavier H number on your buffer and a heavier spring in here, an adjustable gas block. Most times that'll fix an overgassing issue. AR-10s are notoriously overgassed, especially your shorter barreled AR-10s. So adjustable gas blocks and heavier buffers are almost a must. That's about 80% of the problems you're going to have with your AR, especially, you know, when it comes to shooting it. You know, you get into some trigger problems and mechanical stuff that is pretty self-explanatory. Not a whole lot goes wrong with these things. They're very simple weapons, and they're made simple for a reason. You know, the interchangeability, the ability to be able to fix your own rifle in a tactical or combat situation. You know, you got to be able to pick one up and strip parts off of it and put them on the other. So they're very simple, very basic weapons. And if you just understand a few of the basics, you can just about fix any issue you might have. So it's this, my bolt works fine, but could an overpressure round cause any kind of problems like this? This was from an AR-10 in 243. Hey, you'll have to send me a picture and let me have a look at that. Overpressure rounds can cause can be an issue, that's for sure. Somebody puts too much powder in a hand load or something like that. You know, an overpressure round can cause a lot of damage. I've seen guns that have been blown. I've never had it happen to me, knock on wood, but I've seen guns that, you know, the receivers got completely blown out from an overpressured round. So you'll have to send me a picture of that on the architect page, Caleb, because it's not showing up here. I don't see it on my... I'm guessing you had a picture or something tied to that, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it there. So yeah, send me a picture of that and let me see what you got going on there. I'd be interested to see that. So, you know, lube and clean, right? Or clean and lube. Clean and lube. Most problems can be solved. I'm notoriously bad at cleaning my guns. You know, I go to the range, I dump a few hundred rounds, and I'll get it, I'll get it, and I put it in the closet, I put it in the gun case, and I take it back out in a week or two or whatever, and I start shooting again, and, you know, next thing you know, I'm having problems, and it's just because I got lazy and I didn't clean it. So keeping your gun clean, and then the proper lube, keeping it lubed up well, will solve a host of issues. So that's just some quick troubleshooting tips: undergassing, overgassing, failure to feed, failure to eject. And a lot of times your failure to eject will be caused by gas issues. So, let me see, we're going to, so I told you guys last week our gun show got canceled. We were supposed to have a gun show this weekend here at Berea. We're having some virus issues here again. Some things are spiking, and we're still not allowed to have big gatherings. So our gun show got canceled. Hopefully the end of August we can get out there and do some live build along at the gun show. But we are going to do we are still doing our Zoom build along. We got a couple of participants we're trying to get lined up that want to build their own rifle, and we're going to do that live on the 16th. But is it going to be through the A Architect group or on BYOAR? Is it going to? We'll figure that out. But it's going to be on one of those platforms where you can check it out. It's probably going to be on the A Architect page, because if you're a member of the A Architect page, then you can watch for free. You won't be able to interact or ask questions or get the one-on-one coaching. You'll just be able to watch. But you know, if you're interested in signing up for that and getting some coaching, having us help you build a rifle, you can look into that. Don't forget the ARV is on special this week, $5 off regular price. I'm really excited about that. I like this. I want to build a 9mm now just so I can have one of those. And I don't have a 9mm pistol. I need a little ARV or a little 9mm with an ARV for a truck gun. So get that this week, and don't forget to get in on the drawing for the Old Glory handguard, and then don't forget to put your comment in the architect group for troubleshooting problems to get in on the sticker pack for this week. That's all we got for you this week. I hope everybody has a nice week, and if you're having the heat wave that we're having here, stay cool, stay hydrated, drink lots of water. It's going to be in the 90s like every day here this week. We're not used to that here in Ohio. And we live right next to a big lake, so we get really bad humidity. So We'll see y'all next week. Remember, you don't have to be an expert to build your own AR, to maintain it or upgrade it. We're here to help you do that. Thanks. We'll see you guys.